Hi, everyone. It is Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer. And today we have something really, really special planned for you. We've got Connie Joe in the house. Hi, Connie.
Hi, everybody.
Hi from Florida. And
Hi from Florida. That's right.
Seattle to Florida, we are going to bring you the last video in our house series, and we are going to talk all about the first house and all 12 zodiac signs in the first house. The first house is really, really interesting. It is maybe the boldest house. But what I want you to do is I want you to go look at your rising sign. That is the cusp of your first house and any other signs. And you might have up to 3 different signs in the first house, and then listen to those signs as we talk about them. Connie, are you ready for this video?
Meredith, it's all about me. And it's all about you. I mean,
This is the house of me, me, and me.
that's right. It is all about us. Yes, I am certainly ready. And I think what makes us so unique is the blending of those house cusps, like having 2 or 3 signs in that first house, because those next door signs don't know what to do with each other. And it really builds contrast and personality. And it's so interesting.
It is. And I think today we might touch a little bit on the ascendant and how this is your rising sign, which is synonymous with the word ascendant. But we also are going to talk about just the operation of the first house in general, in addition to it being the ascendant, the rising sign.
And if you have planets that are in the first house, and the closer they are to the ascendant, the more you depict that planet along with the ascendant sign. So that makes it even more interesting.
Absolutely. And then we're going to also talk about what does the first house in astrology really mean? I think it is the most powerful and defining points of the entire chart, because this is where the soul enters the body, right? This is where we get our physicality. This is your physical body and your appearance and how you literally move through life. This is your animation. How you move is your rising sign. So if you're very poker face and stoic, you might be Capricorn or Scorpio, right? If
Yeah,
you are bubbly and curious, you might be Gemini rising.
yeah.
But or have Gemini in the first house. But this is literally how you show up in the world and how you move through the world. Because Mars is the natural ruler of this house. And I always think of Mars as like the blood that flows through your veins, right? Your animation, Connie.
Yeah, I agree. And you said this is where the soul enters the body. So if you have planets on the ascendant, especially if they fall on that 12th house side, that can indicate what your life was like in utero or as you were being born. I mean, sometimes if Mars is there, it can mean you were a C-section baby. So it's just interesting to put it all together. And I think the first house also indicates our early life, the very beginning, the baby.
Yes, exactly. It's like it's also how we came into the world, how you slid down the chute. and I one of the ways that you guys, this is a little cheat sheet technique for you. Think of 5 keywords that describe the sign on your ascendant or the signs in your first house. Think of 5 keywords. So some people are going to have 15 keywords, some people are going to have 10 keywords, some people are going to just have 5 keywords. And then I want you to use it in a sentence starting with I am. So Libra rising, harmonious. I
Yes,
am harmonious, right?
I
I
am balanced.
I am
Yes.
balanced, right? Ha ha, that's the joke. I am not balanced. I am trying to become balanced. I live
Right.
with those Libra risings, I know.
I
But
have a few of them in my life too, so I know.
but it's also these signs are going to represent like your core identity, your individuality, and your instinct, how you instinctively define yourself. And it might not even be the truth of you, but it is your first impression. And so
Yeah,
what kind of first impression do you give? So it
yeah,
rules how other people experience you immediately. Your vibe, your aura, your natural expression, even before they get to know your heart, your mind, or your soul.
exactly. Yeah, it's how we show up in the world. What, you know, what they see when they meet us for the first time. I mean, come on, Meredith. Nobody ever guesses my sun sign. They never.
Never. I know, they guess your rising sign. You know, that's that's great that you confess that. My sun sign and my rising sign are very similar and they look alike. So
Yeah,
usually people kind of guess me easily, but your sun sign and your rising sign are different.
are
They
so
operate,
different.
right? And
Yeah,
so the way you it takes time for people to know you at the soul level because we do come from our persona.
yeah,
And
agreed.
I would also say that this is kind of our response to life when we're not thinking. Like I kind of feel like the first house is raw, it's fat, it comes at you fast and it's just unfiltered. So it's like when you're not even trying, you're in your rising sign, you're in your first house sign, right? It's natural.
Absolutely, because babies don't, you know, they're instinctual. They go with their instincts when they're not trying. So I think you're absolutely right.
Exactly. I think that this is also it shows us our courage and how we initiate, how we take action, how we step into the new chapters of our life, how we receive opportunities. Like, do we receive opportunities pessimistically or joyfully? You know, it's our personal launch energy, like how we launch into the world. So if you are a rocket ship, what's your launch like?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I kind of, I do kind of think of the first house as having like rocket fuel for energy.
Well, and let's face it, Aries on the first house cups, they're definitely rocket fuel, the passion, starting everything with the verve and they want their leaders.
Yeah,
Most of them. I mean, you've got to look at the whole chart, but
right.
most of them have leadership ability that is real. So we all have leadership ability, but let's face it, nobody has it like an Aries. Leo comes close.
Yeah. Aries rising, let's talk about it in more detail. And an Aries rising person's chart ruler is going to be Mars. So it kind
Right.
of, when you're Aries rising, it kind of creates a double, double the power, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And physically, you've got to remember where Mars is. But physically, it's a sign where their immunity is high. Usually people with Aries on in the first house, they're usually physically fit. And part of it's because they're always going, they're on the go, on the go, on the go. But I think one thing I love about them is that they're unapologetically honest and straightforward. You
Yeah.
know what? They find it very hard to lie. They're just
Yes.
that impulsive. So, they're going to tell you what they think no matter what, even if it might hurt your feelings a little bit, they're still going to say what they think. And they've got that
And
competitive spirit too.
yeah, and I'm going to age ourselves right now because Connie and I are close in age.
Mhm.
um, this is kind of the Aries, the Aries in the first house is kind of like evil Knievel energy,
Yes.
you
Oh
know,
my gosh, yes.
and like evil Knievel was the man who would like race his motorcycle and like jump tall buildings and jump cars and then
He
land
jumped
it.
everything, didn't
Yeah, he
he?
jumped everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like he was unapologetic about it. And he wasn't wearing a mask. He was being his raw energy. And Aries in the
Yes.
first house, it's almost like that raw energy, the desire and the passion is just so blatantly, blindingly exposed.
And pushing yourself to the limit. I mean, and that's what Evil Knievel did. I mean, this poor man broke every stinking bone in his body and still got back on that motorcycle and did it again.
I love it. And also, that don't you think that this is bravery personified?
Oh God, yes.
You know,
The courage of Aries in the first house. You know, I've said this a lot about Aries. They're going to be the first ones to run into the burning building. They make amazing firefighters, police officers, you know, because really, and sometimes this is to their detriment, they have no fear most of the
yeah,
time. They are fearless.
yeah,
But
and
this that can be a problem sometimes though.
absolutely. And I had to look up Evil Knievel's birthday. Believe it or not, he's a Libra. What the hell? And that's why we don't do sun sign astrology. But I we do want you guys to start learning with us in the totality of your chart and just learning how each house works. So you should watch our entire series on the houses and really start to learn how the different houses work and what they mean in your chart.
Yes,
And he was a
because
oh, I just wanted to say one quick thing, Connie.
no, go ahead.
He was Aquarius rising.
Oh, well, that kind of rebellion, that makes sense
Yeah, and
too.
breaking boundaries.
Yes, for sure.
And we'll
Um,
get to that. We'll get to that one later.
an Aries rising is going to be pretty much the way confident, fierce, you know, independent, self-reliant, all of those things. But what if their Mars is sitting in the 12th house? You know, it's hidden a bit. They're not quite as fiery, you know. So you've really got to look at everything. I mean, it's not like this is the way it is, period, you know?
Yeah. I think some keywords are, let's just wrap up our Aries. They are usually courageous initiators, leaders, pioneers, bold, brave, brazen, too direct, usually for the rest of the zodiac, right?
Competitive.
Yes, competitive, fast moving. I think Aries rising, they are just like, they're doing life fast, don't you?
Yeah, which is one reason why you know they're physically fit because they are constantly going. Um, you know what? I wrote down something in my notes. I think this is interesting. They'll only confront you if they consider you a worthy opponent.
Ooh, that's true because they don't want to eat the bunny rabbit for lunch. They want to take down the other tiger.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly.
Connie, that's a
Yeah,
great aha.
yeah.
That's really, really great. I don't have a lot of Aries in my chart.
Oh,
So yeah.
you know why? I just wanted to tell you this. I didn't know this either. Maybe I should have. But Aries is one of the most rare of the rising signs.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, and let's talk about why it's so special for the whole rest of the chart if you are an Aries rising.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah, you tell it.
Because, because it sets your entire chart up like the wheel is set up anyway. It's like automatically Scorpio's in the eighth, and you've got Capricorn in the 10th. It's set up like our wheel is set up. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it creates a comfortability that other
Mhm.
rising signs don't have. And I kind of think that's also why Aries rising, I should say, is just so blatantly honest and real. and kind of super authentic. Like what you
Oh
see is
yeah.
what you get, because that natural zodiacal wheel is operating underneath their whole chart in its natural order. And
Yeah.
it's really cool. Let's talk
I
about
think so.
Taurus in the first. I kind of think like this is like the earth queen, like mother. This is kind of like mother earth energy, and very there's a regality with Taurus risings because
She's the
I
Queen of Pentacles in the tarot, you know?
exactly. And I also think that there's a grounded sense of self-worth with Taurus rising, and there's pride. I think there's a lot of pride and beauty, and I think that these people are here to beautify the physical world, to embody, to learn how to. I mean, we're all on an evolutionary journey. By the way, we are modern evolutionary astrologers, using the Placidus house system. But
Yeah.
I think they are here to embody self love and self worth. And I also think that the way they use their energy, Connie, is like to magnetize abundance through being, just through an essence more than a force. Like Aries pushes themselves onto the stage and challenges themselves to, you know, compete in life. And I think Taurus sort of is the alluring magnet in a way. Like her
Yeah.
power comes also from being still, which is the opposite of
I
Aries.
very, yeah, agreed. And the stability that's there in this first house sign being Taurus, people feel like they can trust you. It feels very trustworthy. You know, this, and truthfully, it's very stubborn energy as well. I mean, it's fixed energy. So when someone trusts you, they trust you to be stable, is what I'm saying with having Taurus
Absolutely.
there.
Like you are going to do what you say, you're going to be your
Hmm.
word. I think of this sign as sort of laying their foundation because they're the great builder. Taurus
Hmm.
risings want to build something of lasting value, but I kind of see them as like having the patience to lay the foundation brick by brick, piece by piece by piece by piece. You know,
Yeah.
I wish I had
Yeah.
this rising sign for a week. Um, yeah, like I need patience to build something that really lasts. I think there's a what you said about people trust you. I think that they have a devotion to their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
they don't rush. And I think that's also kind of what makes them gorgeous. This is usually a beauty signature. And when I'm reading for a Taurus rising, I go and hunt for Venus right away because Venus is going to be your chart ruler. But I want to see what Venus is doing in your chart because um it's how beauty is going to show up on your own body, even in your own
Yeah.
essence. So if you have Venus and Scorpio, that Scorpio energy is going to be quite magnetic and alluring and stoic in a way, like even
Yeah.
maybe even more stone cold in a regal way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. And if you have Venus in Sagittarius, your beauty might be more flamboyant.
Sure.
And but usually Taurus rising is absolutely gorgeous.
I agree.
And I also think they usually are kind of hourglass figure.
Yes, they're sort
Yeah.
of round. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in a pleasing way. I mean, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But what about the possessive side of Taurus?
Oh, that's awful.
You know, they can be a bit possessive of things that are theirs, you know.
You'll say it nicer than I will, Connie. Yeah, I think well, you guys should watch my Taurus rising video because I think I talk a lot about the shadow side of they own you. Basically, they own
Yeah.
you. I mean, I think they make the possessiveness of Scorpio look light. I do.
Really?
Be-
Because I see it like Taurus says, I own you. And Scorpio says, I own your soul. You know?
yeah, I think Taurus feels like they own your body. They own
Yeah.
like what you're doing. I think you're right. And Scorpio owns like the psychological realm of your world. Yeah, you're right. But the Taurus is just like don't take my stuff, don't touch my things, don't it's mine, mine, mine.
Mine. Yes,
Yeah. And
exactly.
we just did right before this video we did the second house, which is Taurus's house, and we talked a lot about this when
Hmm.
with the second house. But when you have Taurus in the first house, this is a person who comes into this world to possess things, and it
Hmm.
comes from wanting to acquire resources. And it
Hmm.
also comes from desiring stability. They also kind of set up their life. They get a template. What is a successful or good life, comfortable, good life supposed to look like? And then they go out and they work towards getting those things that set up their comfortable life. And
Yeah.
they are patient, you know,
Yeah.
food, shelter, gas, water, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I really love about the Taurus risings that I know is they can create comfort really, really well. Their house smells good. They smell good. They bake the best birthday cakes, they're the
Yeah.
feel goods.
Yes. And they like to make everybody else feel good too.
Yeah. Okay, let's do Gemini.
Oh my goodness. The great communicator, the
Yes.
the socialite. Um,
And
they're
also, don't you think they're really
emotional.
good at karaoke?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this
They
is
are so animated. And isn't it interesting that Gemini rules the hands? And a lot of times you'll find a Gemini first house using their hands to talk, They are pointing it out, using their hands, using their hands. And they're animated. And sometimes they even seem younger than what they are, but they are so innately curious. It's like the world is their school and they want to learn about everything and everything about you. I mean, the only real downside of it, because they're so good at making conversation because they know a little bit about everything, but the shadow side is they may get a bit gossipy. But other than that, they're curious. They're most of them are have carry a nervous energy. Like it does depend on where your Mercury is. Like if your Mercury was in a water house or earth house, maybe not as much. Oh Lord, though, if your Mercury's in Virgo's house, you've got a nervous ninny right here for sure. Because Mercury can make you feel restless or nervous. And something else I've noticed, I think this is funny. A lot of times you think they're distracted or scattered or not listening. And what I found this out the hard way because I said this to one of my friends. I said, You're not listening to me. And she repeated back verbatim everything that I said. And she was listening. It's just because she had Gemini rising that she was scattered and multitasking, doing a million different things, but she still heard what I said.
I love that. They are really quick-witted, smart, usually funny. I when I find I'm going to read for a Gemini rising, I'm usually kind of excited, but I know that I need to bring energy to the table because I find that they are like really tracking, really following, and they're actually like one step ahead. Like they get bored quite easily.
They do. Yeah,
Hmm.
that restlessness has always been right there beneath the surface. But they're the ones that they really want to know you. I mean, they're going to ask questions. They're very curious. And um, what else did I have about them?
Well, I just to follow up on that, I think that this is usually like an extreme, like you said, extremely intelligent person who also likes to network with other people. They're usually popular and have a lot of friends. But one
Uh-huh.
of the things that happens is in the shadow side, I think two big things happen. One, they get paralyzed by ambivalence. They don't always know what they want. And so I think a good thing for people with Gemini in the first house, they should give themselves permission to quit the things they are no longer interested in because they outgrow their current circumstances really fast in life. And they
Yeah.
become ambivalent, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. Oh, I don't know if I want to be with this person anymore. And then they have a guilt around wanting to change things out. And so
Yeah.
they get stuck in analyzing which option is better. And I say, just know that your life is about flowing with new opportunity, new options, and remove the guilt from change. Like if you are 4 years old and you're forced to play soccer because your parents said so and you hate it and you want to take painting class, tell your parents to let you take the painting class, right? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like, yes, there are lessons in like, oh, we signed up and you have to stick to it. But I think Gemini is like a little bit on a quest of what do I want? Who am I? A curiosity quest.
And because they're a mutable sign, they are adaptable. So, they're willing to adapt, but are they too adaptable? Do they ever say no? Probably not very much.
Right. And that's where they really get into big trouble, isn't it? Like they kind of
Yeah,
say yes to it all, and then they're overwhelmed. And then there's the nervous energy, and then the guilt that they didn't do anything really deep
exactly.
and well. And it's a superficial understanding. Right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. And I think that a Gemini, when you find a Gemini rising person that is a really, really good listener, you have found a healthy Gemini rising.
Yeah. But just remember, they may not look like they're listening, but they really are. I found out the hard way.
Oh my gosh.
But
Um,
they do have a short attention span. So if they're getting bored with the conversation, they'll come up with something very creative to walk away. So just know that.
yeah, it is true. I think that Gemini rising, sometimes people get their feelings hurt with Gemini rising because they feel the Gemini rising person isn't as like connected, like you said, paying attention
Uh-huh.
as you are.
Yeah.
And you feel that they are distracted with everything but you. And that's how they can hurt feelings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they can get shown up like I did when she was able to repeat back everything I said. So, what about Cancer?
Okay, Cancer.
Don't you find Cancer risings are a bit, not only are they intuitive, but they're also a bit moody, because the moon travels through a sign every 2.5 days. So it can create, and they're ruled by the moon. So it creates this kind of moody, and when I say moody, I don't mean like they're grumpy all the time. I mean like sometimes they're a lot happier than others, you know, depending on what sign the moon is moving through.
Yes, totally. Well, okay, I kind of think that Cancer rising, truthfully, Connie, this is just my truth. And maybe not so much if you have Cancer in the first house, but Cancer rising, you all should go watch my Cancer rising video because it's pretty brutal. I think this is the hardest rising sign to have out of all 12 signs. I really do because it's ruled by the moon. It's constantly changing. The
Yeah.
moon changes signs every 2.5 days. And you said it perfectly. It's it's emotional. And so the
Yeah.
emotions are constantly changing, right? But when it's healthy, I think it becomes this this deeply feeling and sensitive and deeply intuitive person, like this highly emotionally aware human being who experiences life not just through the mind, but really lives through the heart. And they create this nurturing, energetic field all around them, right?
Yeah, they do.
And I think
Agreed.
they would say, like, who I am is based on how I feel, like
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this party because I feel comfortable here. And so they evaluate through a filter of, does this other person or does this situation make me feel comfortable? And
yeah,
I think this sign aggressively defends and protects. And that's why they come across as closed. Cancer rising people come across a little bit closed for business until they trust, like a crab. Is a crab going to come running up to you?
I was gonna say
Hey,
the same thing. Yeah,
right? They're shy, they're closed, they're defensive. They're like, what do you where are you taking me? What are we doing? What? That's what's inside of Cancer
yeah,
rising a lot of the time. Like, they don't truly approach life with this instinctive, wow, I trust you, right? They read the room constantly.
yeah. I'm thinking about the Cancer risings that I know, and that is so true. Um, they can sense so much. I think it's overwhelming for them sometimes. You
Yeah.
know, because especially if they're healthy, they're empathic. They can feel everything around them, and I think you've got to might help to have a healthy dose of Aries in there where you can not feel as much as you actually feel with this rising sign or this first house sign.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there is a natural rhythm to Cancer risings that ebb and flow with the ocean tides, and
Yeah,
when they feel safe, they really can expand and love so big and so openly, like a mama bear, protective and concerned and nurturing and caring and sensitive and thoughtful for themselves and for others, creating like safety. Um, and but they're cautious. And then when they don't feel safe, they retreat. And one of the
hmm,
things I've noticed with Cancer rising is I kind of have to regain their trust every time I see them. So I can get you to trust me right now, and it's a great conversation. But when you come back tomorrow, we have to start the trust process all over again.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to process that, but yeah,
It's just like the crab. You come back to visit the crab the next day. Does the crab remember you and trust you? It's a long repetitive process for them to instinctively trust you. But when they do feel safe with you, eventually they will never leave you.
yeah.
It's,
I was
yeah.
just thinking about a real experience with a crab that I have. I actually got a picture of him. He was coming at me and he was huge. And but I messed up his home. I'm in like 2 or 3 feet of water, and I guess I disturbed his home. And he came at me with pincers going, and I got a picture, and it was wonderful. But if you mess up their home, you know what? Everybody thinks cancer, they kind of consider them because they are so sensitive, a bit weak. And that you could not be further from the truth. They're a cardinal sign. They're not weak. They just choose their battles, I guess.
They choose their battles, and they're usually like emotional battles, like how you made me feel. But also, let's talk about, I agree, they are definitely not weak. You guys have to realize that, they are considered an angular sign, because they're the natural ruler of the fourth house, and their home is
Right.
their heart, and their heart is their home.
Exactly.
And if you find a displaced, unhoused Cancer rising, it is really quite devastating. But let's talk about like what they might look like. I think they look very watery, which is like big eyes and a round face and curvy. And and soothing and comfortable aura usually, right? Like you want their hug. These are some of the best huggers of the zodiac.
Oh, that's funny. I'm not a Cancer rising, but I do have the moon in the first house, and I'm not saying I'm the best hugger. What I'm saying is I feel like I am round.
Well, I think you do have a little piece of this because when you walk into a room, you do create an automatic emotional warmth in the atmosphere. You are very
Oh,
moon rising. I can see that.
thank you.
And I also feel like these people are here to kind of learn to feel without to learn how to feel a lot or hold the emotions without becoming totally overwhelmed and totally consumed and hysterical, like
Yeah,
learning how to use the emotional feeling and the intuition kind of as a courageous tool rather than letting it just like overwhelm you like the ocean tide and drowning you.
yeah,
And
agree.
learning how to nurture self. I think this is about self care, self love, self nurturance, and for myself, like learning how to love myself and not just seek it from other people, but to know that I have a lot of capacity inside of myself to make myself comfortable, worthy, lovable, loved. I am love. That's a great sentence to say about Cancer Rising. I am the vessel of love.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And they are.
I also think the one thing they need to learn how to get over is defining themselves by all their wounds. I find these people really can live in the past insults and in the past violations of past wounds.
Yeah, because, the moon carries all of our memories, past lives, present life, all of our memories. So they're ruled by the moon. I can kind of see how that would happen with them, how they would um, continually pull on things from their moon, which is ruling that first house. And it's hard for them to forget, isn't it?
Yeah, and forgive too. But
Yeah.
I think there's kind of there's the what makes them extraordinary is if they can get out of all that wound and if they can reorganize the memory. For example, maybe your biological mother gave you up for adoption, but it wasn't because you weren't wanted. Finding a new story within the story, it was because she was incapable or maybe going to prison, right? And
Yeah.
so maybe reworking those past wounds, I think, is critical for cancers in the first house, as you said, because the moon holds all the memories of our
Hmm.
life. But I think their real gift is they can feel the truth before it's even spoken.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It
Um,
is pretty cool.
yeah, they are the protective guardian, and they're on the lookout, and they are very, like you mentioned, very protective over what they love. Like they are fierce. This is
Yes,
fierce love, right? And they stand strong
absolutely.
for, yeah, for their family, for their children. And I think this is also the quintessential mother archetype, even if you
I do
are a
too.
man. Yeah, even if you are a man, even if you don't have children, they're not weak. They are the shield. They are literally
Mhm.
like the Athena's shield to protect
They
and
are.
defend. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you want to talk about Leo rising?
Oh, girl. Of course I do.
Bring it, Connie. Bring it.
Oh
Leo
my gosh.
rising.
They are so vibrant and magnetic and charismatic, and people are drawn to them. They are loving and loyal and prideful. And it's like the world is their stage and they bring the drama. I mean, sometimes these can be the actors or the performers of the zodiac. They they're a bit dramatic, but their leadership ability is not only amazing, but that they can see gifts in other people. That's one cool thing about Leo rising. They are able to recognize other people's gifts. And usually they're not jealous because they already know they're the queen. I mean, and most of the time Leo risings have great hair or big hair, lots of hair. Um, yeah, girl. And they are
Hold on,
colorful.
hold on.
Yes, yes, big hair. Come on, darling. They are colorful in their dressing, how they dress, they're vibrant, but do not hurt their pride. Thank you very
Mm.
much. Do not hurt their pride because that, as loving and loyal as they can be, you hurt their pride and they're probably not going to speak to you again for quite a while. Also, this is something that I found out, not, I found this out through a friend. Leo rising, gorgeous, and but she did not like to be the center of attention. And what happens with Leo first house is that they often people are so attracted to them, they're often the center of attention and they really don't want to be. It's not that they're asking for it. It's like people naturally gravitate to them. And I put in my notes, they are the extroverted introvert. And
Wow. Okay, Connie, I have to say something about that. That's so fascinating. So, in my Athena Academy of Astrology, in my foundations course, it was so interesting. I have so many Leo risings. And
mm,
yesterday we were doing cold reading. We were just finishing up the cold readings mastery. And by the way, if you guys want to come and learn real astrology, Connie is teaching the next course on generational planets. You can still get that course. You can get the whole entire year and become a certified astrologer. But so just go check it all out at soulnavigation.com. But what I wanted to say, Connie, is in this cold readings mastery class, three of the charts that came up were Leo risings, and all of them were shy and a little bit inhibited.
they
Yeah. And
that
so the sun sign and the sun sign placement really matters.
with Leo, especially with Leo rising, because I've seen it firsthand. And then it's like if you are a Leo sun and you don't really understand your sun sign, you don't relate to it, then you've probably got the sun in the fourth house but I'm amazed at how Leo risings or Leo first house will get so much attention. And on the inside, they still feel isolated or they have imposter syndrome. Like, this isn't really me. I don't feel popular and magnetic and charismatic. And I am not the storyteller or the actor. The Leo is the natural storyteller. They're great with telling stories. I mean, they're a natural. So,
Yeah, it is kind of having the actor placement, right? The
uh-huh.
the actor placement. But one thing I want to say, and tell me what you think about this. I think because with Leo risings, the sun is your sun, your sun is the ruler of your entire chart. I think it's a little bit hard for these people to wear an inauthentic mask. Now, I think they can play a role for a minute, but I think that there is a transparency that comes through Leo risings that a lot of the other zodiac signs in the first house don't have because the sun is not the ruler of any other rising sign. What do you think
Right.
of that idea?
I absolutely agree with you because I also think they're children at heart and they're playful like a child. You know, children don't lie easily. They're just who they are. They want to play, they want to have fun. And I do think it would be hard for a Leo first house to be inauthentic with the sun being there. It's like lying to daddy or mama's face or something. It just really doesn't happen. I also think children gravitate toward Leo risings.
Yeah. There is a childlike playful quality, even with the more shy Leo risings. They secretly do want to just have fun and play and make things happy. And the fifth house rules games, you
Yep.
know? So they like to play a game, make a game, be a game, and they connect through games, sporting event games, even live concerts, just anything that they can kind of play at, even if
Yeah.
they're a little bit inhibited. They'll be like, I remember my Leo rising aunt, we'd go over to her house. They were always playing bridge, not talking to each other at all. Nobody was talking. I mean, it was like, what, you played that? Oh my, that was the conversation. But they connect through a lot of childlike ways, including games,
Yeah.
and and they're usually kind of creative. That's why you said storyteller. This
Yes.
this
Very creative.
wouldn't this be a great like audiobook reader, actor, person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
And
think Leo risings, you really have to pay attention to your sun sign and what your sun is doing, because your sun is shining through that ascendant, that first house. And if that sun is not healthy, right, people will
yeah.
see that immediately. So not every Leo rising is a narcissist, but if your sun is not functioning well and narcissistic, your rising sign will show that too.
Yeah.
I think it's like having cellophane for a mask.
Oh, yeah.
You can see through it.
Right.
Yeah. And it can be obnoxious too. It can be flamboyantly obnoxious. And, just think of this is the house of me, me, me. And then the sun is me. And so it's a double me factor. And it's, wait, what about me? What about me?
It's funny though. I haven't met many Leo first house people that were obnoxious. Most of them are they're loyal and they're loving. And yes, they want appreciation, but they're not narcissistic or assholes. You know what I mean? For the most
Yeah.
part.
Also, there is a regality with this, with Leo rising, like Sagittarius rising. There's a regality. There's kind of a crown. They were born, usually, we talked about how this is you coming down the chute. And by the way, you guys, I want you to watch my Leo rising video. And in that video, I get so choked up and I have to hold back tears. And I show you the vulnerability of the lion, of the king of the jungle in that video.
Hmm.
So if you do have this placement, go watch that video. It's really good. It was hard for me to do because I really broke down the vulnerability that lives inside of Leo, feeling like, wow, I'm not going to be able to wear this crown. I'm not good enough to
Yes.
be this special. But
Heavy
they're
is the head that wears the crown, for sure.
Oh God, that's so well said. That's so good. That's so good, Connie. I forgot that quote until you said it. But they're born with kind of a specialness put onto them by their parents, usually. Like they are usually, we have to look at the whole chart, but they are wanted children. And
Hmm.
they are born with a specialness. They feel this. They come out going, I'm here. Y'all happy about it? Like I let the party start. Yeah, I'm rocking your world now. And what happens is when they get kicked in the teeth and they realize that they might just be merely mortal and average, the blow to that is so painful that Leo rising can stop trying and they can
Yeah.
retreat, like the wounded lion.
Yeah.
If the lion's leg is injured, life is over. Life is over, and they retreat. And so the wounded lion has so much vulnerability in it because they don't truly know how special they are. They don't even know, why is this crown on my head? I'm embarrassed to wear it. I don't deserve
Yeah.
it. And so they're always striving and trying. And, that's what you see in Leo rising, somebody who's really always trying to find that, to be that standard that somebody placed upon them.
Yeah. Do you not find that I think that people with the sun very, very close to the ascendant, like within a couple of degrees, it's the same for them. It's like they were born this shining rising star, with the sun being right there. And I it makes me think of a Leo rising when I see that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, sun rising, there's no persona. That's what you see is what you get. It's very Leo-esque like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Let's talk about Virgo.
Yeah. The Virgos. I know so many Virgo risings.
I think Virgo rising is oh God, a lot. A lot. Of course, this is a highly intelligent rising sign, also a great communicator. I think a little better listener than Gemini rising because they are of the earth world element. And
Yeah.
I they are the smarty pants rising sign. And I think that the soul enters into the body with awareness, with discernment, with the ability to say, hey, this room is 2 degrees too cold for my little body. Like, I need a blanket. I think this is a soul that is so highly and acutely attuned to all the details and finding patterns. When you can find
Yeah.
patterns in life, you can synthesize life. When you see consistent patterns, you can start to draw intelligent conclusions, when you see the pattern in life. And they don't just experience life, I think they analyze it to improve it, to refine it. And
Yes.
I think the question is like, who am I? I am the person that wants to help evolve myself, this mission that we're on. I want to help perfect this project or this situation. I want to make things better with health, wealth, physicality, in all ways, intellectually. Don't don't you think they notice what other people always miss?
Yes, they definitely do because it's the sign of the craftsman or the craftswoman. They pay their attention to detail is, I don't think any other sign in the zodiac has the attention to detail that the Virgo has. But Meredith, what I found out the most about Virgo first house is they are so hard on themselves.
Yeah.
They're hard on themselves.
Yeah, because I think they're attached to optimization. And so they're always trying to upgrade themselves or improve themselves or optimize themselves. I mean, think about how many times you've had to buy a new phone in your life or a new computer in your life, right? Like, oh, it's
Yeah,
running slow. I need a new one. And
yeah,
I do think that's anxiety producing. It's their high
yeah.
standards that creates humility. That saying where, gosh, at 18 years old, you and I, we thought we knew everything. We thought we had all the answers, only to get older and realize that we know absolutely nothing now.
You got it.
Right. Like, because now we're aware of all that we do not know. And
Yeah,
I think Virgo is born with that kind of awareness.
yeah.
And
It's
so
almost like they're old souls.
yes. And I think the humility in them is, when it's high functioning humility, it is priceless. It's where everybody else should be. But when it's self deprecating in a harmful way and self sabotaging way, now we have eating disorders and sexual disorders and, self esteem disorders and insecurities. And now it manifests into anxiety and pill popping and all that, right? That's
Yeah.
terrible.
So, in a way, though, Virgo first house, they punish themselves rather than um, who the perceived person is that hurt them or whatever. They take it out on they always seem to think it was probably my fault.
Exactly. And also they don't like demand they don't even expect any attention at all. And they also feel like, don't you think they feel like they have to earn any attention or recognition that they get? They've got a
Yes,
lot of earning power.
yes.
But I also find that Virgo rising, when it goes awry, I think that they don't trust the process. I think that they just try to control the process and they don't trust the flow.
Yeah, I think when Virgo rising is unhealthy, there's a certain arrogance there that they're the smartest person in the room anyway. And, and part of that is not trusting the process
Right.
because
And
because
isn't
they
it
think they're the
interesting?
smartest.
Yeah, Connie, isn't it interesting? Like when they're healthy, they're humble. And when they're unhealthy, they are obnoxiously my way's
Arrogant.
the right way. And
Hmm.
I've got three Virgo people in my life that are so self-righteous. They can learn nothing new. They're young and they feel like they know it all. And you cannot coach them directly. You cannot teach them directly. You have to watch them fall apart and come to their own conclusions. And it is so painful.
I can think of several myself, and yes, but when they're healthy, their dedication is so beautiful
Yeah.
because they're not going to half-ass it. If their service to humanity, whatever that might be for them, they don't half-ass. They do it with all of their heart, and they like to be of service to others.
Yes.
But then you
Yes.
get the unhealthy ones and wah wah.
And that's any sign, right? Like
Well, yeah,
the healthiness. So if you listener are listening, and you're like, wow, I only know, I hate Virgo risings. I only know unhealthy ones. It's not all Virgo risings. Health is on a continuum. And, and, I think being a healthy version of any sign is absolutely gorgeous. And unhealthy, any zodiac sign unhealthy is just unbearable. So you have to be
yeah.
careful. So if you only have negative experiences with Virgos or Virgo rising, your homework assignment is to go find another Virgo or Virgo rising and just know that not all Virgo risings are going to be unhealthy.
Well, right. I can think of one in particular, and I'm not going to say her name, but you've actually met her, and she's one of the most absolutely fantastic people ever, and she's definitely healthy.
Woo!
Yeah, so it goes that way with any sign, it does.
I think one of my very favorite qualities of Virgo rising is when they use discernment. Discernment is their secret weapon,
Uh-huh.
because the first house is like, how do you use your secret weapon? What is your secret weapon? And with Leo rising, I think it's like shining the light onto others too, sharing the spotlight. Um, with Virgo rising, I think it's using discernment as a tool to improve conditions.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need Virgos. I need Virgos in my life. I'm full on addicted to the Virgos in my life, the healthy ones, because they really do help me want to be and become a better human, a better person, have a
Yeah.
better platform, a better system.
Yeah.
I also want to say one last thing. I think Virgo risings usually look thin and fit and healthy. I do have some Virgos in my life that are not that at all. But with Virgo as being the body, I think Virgo risings bring the body, the mind, and the spirit together better than most zodiac signs. Like they're in the body, the mind, and the spirit. And they usually have high physical standards and they don't deviate from them. Like I think their look is usually very classic and kind of um classic, classy, conventional, a little bit buttoned up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty cool. I hadn't thought of it that way. I'm processing. Just
Yeah. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Virgos, you are here turning the ordinary into something exceptional. Okay, let's talk about Libra. And this is a fascinating rising sign because it flips the whole wheel on its
Yes,
head, it
it
makes
does.
everything go backwards. So, the first thing I want to say about it is I think when you're Libra rising, you're here to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's part of the balance because all your signs are in the opposite house. Okay, take it over, Connie. Go
But
for it.
they are the mirror, though. You know, they want partnership, but Libra's not just about partnership, y'all. I mean, I think that's what the stigma is with Libra rising, but that's not it. They want harmony and justice and fairness. And the Libra risings that I know, they being fair really matters to them. And they will listen and they can easily see both sides of the story. A healthy Libra rising can see both sides of the story, balance it out, and they're not being indecisive. They are taking their time to be fair. It's like how the justice system works. They can see both sides of a situation. They can see better than any other sign, I think, the feminine and masculine. They balance that out. And being ruled by Venus, are they put together? Do they have a classic look? Well, yeah, most of the time they do, um, because they're ruled by Venus, and beauty and art and all of that is so important. But, but the most important thing is being fair. And you know what? They're likable and they're charming and they are polite. They are all of these things. I mean, most Libra risings are polite. They really are. And they're charming. And everybody likes them. But they're the ones that will throw a party and then make everyone feel comfortable. They're the ones that are actually going because they see it. They're able to see both sides. So they see that person sitting over there by themselves and they go and say, "Hey, can I get you a coffee? Can I get you something to drink? Can I make you feel more comfortable?"
Yeah.
Because
The Libra
they,
risings at my parties, because I got two of them, they're always on the social committee. They're the social
yes,
chair.
yes. And both of my children are Libra risings and they can't, it bothers them to see somebody left out.
Yeah.
You
Are
know,
they answering the door and giving the hugs first?
oh,
Hey, Uncle Bob.
absolutely. Yes. And but they want harmony. They do. Um, confront I'm gonna tell you something though, they're not afraid to be confrontational if it has to do with social justice or someone they love or something they really care about or something they think is unfair. They will confront. So it's just like cancer. Everybody gets cancer wrong. They think, oh, they're sensitive, they're weak. No. Oh, gosh, Libra, they just want partnership and harmony, oh, world peace. And they think they're weak. No, they're not. These are cardinal signs. They are cardinal signs. They are not weak. They just come off in a different way. And something that a lot of people don't know about Libra, and think about this, they are could be inner workaholics. Like, because private workaholic, you've got to think Capricorn is probably on the fourth house cusp, private workaholic, and Saturn finds its joy in Libra.
Wow, Connie,
Okay.
that's so interesting because I do think my Libra rising people, they are, I don't know if I'd say workaholic, but God, they are hard workers. They don't want to fail. They
Right.
just, they would rather die than be a disappointment to the people that believe in them and to the people that love them. I almost think they kind of go to work to be admired or loved or respected or to give back or to be fair and balanced inside their commitments and their relationships in a way. In a way, they work for you to appreciate them in a way. Like
Yeah, I would
like
agree.
they're motivated by the relationship and bringing something to that partnership.
Yes. But I think they're also motivated by fairness, by but I mean they're not the scales for nothing. They don't show up as the justice card in the tarot. There's something about Libra that's like the iron glove. You know, they they are peaceful and harmonious, but they're gonna do what's right.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think of this idea, cuz you're getting me to think. Um I think at least the Libra risings I know, they attract very, very unfair situations. Like they are put in situations that are truly sometimes not right, not just, and not fair. And I think it's because one of the karmic lessons they're here to learn is what is right, just, and fair. And so they have to know what it also isn't. So
Yes,
sometimes I feel like life shows up unfairly for them. Have you experienced that
I
with your
definitely
Libra?
think that. I do. So it gives them the opportunity to see what it's like so they can, I always think about a lawyer or a judge when I think of Libra. And of course, they are fashion designers and event planners and they're artists. I mean, they are ruled by Venus, absolutely. But I can't get over that Saturn is at its joy in Libra.
Yes.
Saturn, y'all.
I
You know
love
what I
that, Connie. And also, so I just want to tell you this one cute little story. So we went to my husband's son's wedding, and my daughter came. She was 18 at the time. And Connie, it's so funny. So after the rehearsal dinner night, whatever, maybe it even was the wedding night. Everybody was wet from jumping into the swimming pool. It was absolutely hilarious. My daughter decided to get everybody involved. By the way, nobody knew each other. So she just decided to do an icebreaker. So she is a gymnastics coach for little kids. So she decided to teach grown ass men after way too many beers. She decided to teach everybody how to do a headstand somersault. So you do your headstand and then you roll into a somersault. I was
Oh
like, I
my
don't
God.
know. We need to sign liabilities and waivers, you know? Oh my God, it was so funny. Well, these men weren't going to tell that Libra rising no. And so everybody's doing a headstand roll down into a somersault icebreaker. Oh my God, it broke the ice. It was
I'll bet it did. No, that
so
is so cute.
it was really, really cute. It was adorable and hilarious. And everybody definitely needed a spot.
Yeah.
But
I'll bet.
it's like those Libra risings know how to bring social joy.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And they're usually drop dead gorgeous and they have a social EQ with a physical
Oh,
beauty, right?
yes, they do. I want to, and I was going to say something about that, that their social emotional IQ is really high. They, and that's the reason they see the people that are might be left out or, and they want to harmonize everything. Let's everybody be happy and harm. Look, they have their bad days too, but um, most of the time a Libra rising will make you smile.
Isn't that the truth? Also, my Libra risings, they can be eviscerating in a fight. Like they can just show you how your facts are wrong. But my Libra risings, they don't usually yell loudly. They don't usually get ugly. They don't want to like get ugly and start slobbering in your face, you know. Do your
Yeah.
Libra risings mostly keep their cool or can they
Yes.
yell?
One of them can, the other one not, but the one that can has Mars and Aries in the seventh house. And so
Oh,
he's capable of it.
yeah.
The other one, no, she didn't raise,
No.
if she raises her voice, something very serious has happened, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
That's more typical, I think. Let's talk about Scorpio. I think Scorpio in the first house is really powerful. I mean, I think they are the alchemist. And when we talk about alchemy, I'm talking literally about taking an element or a mineral and changing its form into another, right? Taking gold and turning it into gas. Like the power of the alchemist is the great transformer. And I know we use that word a lot, but I really want the intensity of changing one form into another and how much dedication, devotion and intensity, like this intense, oh, this intense passion that it takes. And this is also not a light presence at all. Like this is not a light presence. I think that Scorpio in the first house feels everything that is not seen with the eyes, feels and understands even the the truth that is beneath the surface. And so they also want to be and they value realness. And I think that they really struggle when they feel like somebody's putting up a false front. Like they will get behind that false front. And I think going back to the I am sentences, they would say something like Scorpio rising would say something like, I am real. I am, I am also hidden. Like I have pieces in me that you cannot see. I can see into you, but you cannot see into me. It's a one-way street with those Scorpio risings. And I am also the vessel that helps transformation, that helps or assists or creates the the energy that will transform. And I think there is a deep focus, that emotional x-ray vision, truth to power, right? Power dynamics. This is probably the most powerful looking um rising sign, right?
Oh gosh, the piercing eyes. It's a signature. It's like you feel like they're shooting daggers in your soul.
Yeah,
They
I
see
think
right through you.
I think what they're doing when they do that is they're literally trying to figure out like what's really going on. What is the real truth? Who are you really? Like use the word really to understand the Scorpio. Like what is your truth really? Do you believe what you're saying really? Do you really think that's are you really showing me yourself? Like the word really has to be in the description of Scorpio rising.
There's something so, okay, for lack of a better word, a lot of Scorpio risings are really sexy.
Yes, like alluring, right? Like they have this
Yes,
mysterious allure.
they do. It's
And
um
also they create intrigue.
yes, and mystery, and you kind of
Mhm.
want to know more. And let me tell you something, you're kind of lucky if they tell you more too, because most of them hold back. It's like you said, Meredith, they want to know all of your secrets, but they don't want to give up any secrets.
Oh gosh, isn't that the truth?
Hmm.
Okay, so I have to tell you this one thing. So we were in Arizona just a couple weeks ago and we took my mother-in-law out for her birthday on this gorgeous rooftop restaurant. Everybody needs to go. I'm going to shout it out here. It's called Thea, and it's Greek Mediterranean. And we're on this rooftop patio. And my husband just so slightly says, Mare, don't be obvious. I go, okay, okay, I won't be. What? No, I was a little cooler than that. I was like, okay, what? And he goes, 9 o'clock, Alice Cooper sighting. And yeah, and Alice Cooper's not a Scorpio. I had to look him up. He's actually an Aquarius. Again, another Aquarius, like Evil Knievel. And but he acted like a Scorpio, right? And he's literally, oopsie, he literally was eating dinner next to us. And I tried to like get my phone to position
Oh, bad.
just right, and I couldn't do it. And then I was walking down the aisle, and Alice Cooper, I guess I was just really tall. I wore 3-inch heels, and I'm not a good spy in this situation. And I'm walking like this, and I'm trying to get the video. Oh, I got the bushes in the background. I didn't even get his face. And then Joe, my husband, he goes, "Did you get the video? Did you get the picture?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "I did." And he like secret spied and got the perfect picture of Alice Cooper eating dinner. Yeah, it was really funny. But I think that, and Alice Cooper is actually a really like, I guess supposedly, like, he does a lot for charity. He really cares about humanity and people. But it's
Hmm.
kind of like he has that scorpionic vibe about him,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but there's that. I just wanted to say he's also, I have to be honest, he's not a very attractive person. Like, he's not handsome. He's very short. I mean, he's tiny. I swear, I thought he was like 5'6". Tiny, tiny. I could not believe it. I thought he was long and tall and skinny, and no. But I was going to say that Scorpio rising can have the look of death or goth or dark, or he wore the makeup that was just crazy and blood and all that,
Hmm.
and still be sexy and still be alluring and magnetic and attractive. Like, they can make their look so attractive
Yeah.
with intrigue.
You know what? Tell me what you think about this, okay? So it's like two rising signs that are both intriguing, charismatic, magnetic. And we've got Scorpio and we've got Leo. It's like the light and the dark,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know? Because both of those rising signs have that charisma that really you can't describe it. It just is.
Yeah. And one is, Plutonian underworld, the
Yes.
dark, right? And the other is
And
the
one of them's
sunshine.
the sun. Yeah.
And I think Scorpio risings kind of can get irritated with the Leo rising person, like believing that all that light is kind of fake. One of the things I wanted to say is when Scorpio, and this is what happened when Alice Cooper came and sat down at the table, a lot of people did not recognize him, or at least maybe they're just respectful enough to not ooh and ah. But don't you think that when Scorpio walks into the room, they shift the entire energetic vibration of the room?
Yes,
Yeah, it's just the
they do.
energy shifts. Yeah, and they can steal the energy, or not. They control the energy. Like, how much
That's
of this
it.
vortex am I going to suck out of the room? Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll choose not to right now. Maybe
You
I'll
know,
choose to just leave the energy where it's like Professor Snape. I'll just let the energy sit as it is. And they can control it. They're kind of like the magician, the puppeteer, the ventriloquist person who's controlling the ventriloquist. Like, I'll make you all comfortable now, or
and
I won't.
Pluto's all about control and transformation, but it is controlling. And I think they have that ability for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
I think when they're healthy, they can transform their pain. It's like cancer. They can transform their pain into an elixir, into wisdom. into
Hmm.
medicine, kind of chironic in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're also so guarded. Don't you think this is like the stone face at times, like guarded and secretive and emotionally closed off and kind of controlling and hyper aware of who's going to betray me here? Okay, what's going wrong? What's going to go
Yes.
wrong? Yep, I already know. Are you going to poison my punch? What are you going to do? You're going to roofie me. You're going to try to rob me. You're, like the paranoia around what's going to go wrong
Yeah.
because they live in survival mode. I think I really do. I think they are like
Yeah.
sleep with one eye open,
Open.
like
Yeah.
ready.
Agreed. They, but they do hold a certain power that,
Always. So this is well, I think this is the rising sign of power, and therefore they are powerful, and therefore they are going to experience life that challenges that very power because they need to
yeah.
learn how powerful they really are. I think these people walk through darkness, right? They walk through darkness and they come back with wisdom, like
Yeah.
wise. There's a lot of wisdom to be learned if the Scorpio rising person wants to learn it. There's a lot of wisdom with this placement because it's about the rebirth and the phoenix. This is the phoenix.
I think you're lucky if they'll share that with you, though, the wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. They usually keep almost all of it inside. You need
Yeah.
to you need to crack them open.
Yeah.
One of
I
the
almost,
things, oh yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, almost like the Phoenix rising better than the Scorpion for them.
I do too. Why I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think they're here to rise from challenges, death, destruction, divorce, devastation, and what's interesting about them is the world is not really, well, I should say maybe the western civilization is not really ready or prepared for Scorpio rising because they are, truth at all costs. Um and they create endings. If they come into your life, I guarantee you they are going to make you realize or recognize the things that you need to end in your life. And endings are just opportunities for new beginnings. But a lot of people are not prepared for the endings. They don't want anything
Yeah.
to end. Right. And so I think if I can just give like a new kind of insight to Scorpio rising, they great in creating endings and starting the beginnings. That's transformation.
Yeah.
So a lot of people struggle with the endings part, the death part, the goodbye part, the divorce part. All of those are endings. But if we're healthy, we can open up to new opportunities. And there's the transformation. And nobody's ready for that.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Are we ready for Sagittarius?
I think we are ready. We just went down to the bottom of the ocean floor.
I
Bring
know.
us,
It's like let's rise up a bit here.
yeah, put our
So,
oxygen mask on and let us fly, Connie. Okay, tell us about
yes.
Sagittarius Rising. I've got a couple of these in my life too. What do you think about these, Connie?
Oh my gosh, life is an adventure. I mean, they're usually very optimistic and expansive, and this can be a fault too. Most of the time, they want to see the good in people and see the good in situations, and it gets them in trouble sometimes because not everybody's good. And it's like they're so optimistic. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Oh no, you're not really stealing that car. You're just borrowing it. It's like they
Exactly.
they're so on seeing the bright side. They have a huge need for freedom. Huge. They do not like to be tied down um in any way. they don't like to feel boxed in because Jupiter, their ruler, is so expansive that feeling boxed in is like poison to them almost. They can see the big picture and the vision, and they love philosophy and really digging into that. And they see the deeper meaning. And this, I think, for me on a personal level, is one trait that I love about Sag in the first house is that you want the deeper meaning. If something happens, if there's a divorce, a car accident, if something happens in their life, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this? What is the deeper meaning? What do I need to learn? How can I grow? Being stagnant is the worst thing that can happen to a Sagittarius rising. They need growth. They need freedom and the room to grow. And if things get stagnant, see you later, man.
Yeah. One of the things I'll say about Sagittarius rising, tell me if you agree with this is the second sign of royalty, because it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the god of all gods, the god of the universe, Zeus. And so there's a largeness to life. And when life does not always allow them to experience, the rewards, the abundance, the dream, the optimism, the vision that they had, the devastation, the fall from that in the disappointment, it can just lay you out flat. And I
Yeah,
think that learning how to cope with disappointments is a big piece of the equation for Sagittarius rising sign. These people were not built for meh, meh, my life's eh. They were not built for mediocrity. They cannot cope with it when they come up average. Yeah, you're average. What? I'm not average.
ah, are you kidding
I'm
me?
average.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's devastating because, I mean, honestly, y'all, I'm a Sag rising. I always expect everything to work out. I
Dun
do.
dun dun. The secret's out.
Yeah, I always expect everything to work out and always, and I bounce back. And I think most Sag risings do bounce back. But I think when something happens, because we're expecting the best, and it's, yeah, it's shocking. It's,
I think this is a lot like Leo rising, where if the insult is you suck, it's like, okay, have your opinion. But if the insult is like, I really listened to that, or I really took a look at you, you're quite average. You're quite average. You're 50%.
ah, you
Oh,
would be like, uh-uh.
oh, I'd rather suck than be 50%.
I know I would want to say either you like me or you don't. Which is it? You know?
Right? Like, I
Yeah.
really think that they want to build something so exciting and kind of extraordinary, but they don't want it for free. I think Sagittariuses are actually very dedicated as well to their truths, to what they
Yeah.
believe in.
Yes.
These are big
Absolutely.
believers. They believe in the goodness, and they oftentimes believe in their own selves and talent. And then they go out and prove it to themselves.
Yeah. And philosophy is important. And this is the other side of the axis from Gemini, the learning axis. Learning about other cultures, other countries, other languages, you know, learning about other religions and philosophies and being or trying to be open-minded and take it all in and not get stuck in your own box. Thankfully, Sagittarius is adaptable, a mutable sign like Gemini. So they don't get as incredibly stuck as maybe some of the fixed signs. But I think the need for freedom and their restlessness works against them sometimes.
Yeah. Also, I think one of the ways that you can figure out if you are a Sagittarius rising is if you have the too much syndrome. Like you do something too big, too much, too loud, too many times, something a little too much. And it could even be like I'm too ambivalent or I'm too picky. It could be anything. But a
Anything.
lot of Sag risings have usually a bad habit of some sort where it's just a little too much of something.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think Jupiter's placement actually kind of is the telltale sign of where they might be too much.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. I love that. And everybody should go watch the Sagittarius Rising video because I talk a lot about it, like the rodeo clown who is here that creates a great time, but they go back to their trailer, they drink their bottle of whiskey, they sit on their bundle of hay and they take their makeup off. And I mean the old fashioned clown at the circus. And I think
Yeah.
that there is sort of an avoidance if they don't have Scorpio in their chart or Cancer in their chart. There can be an avoidance around the heavy emotions because they've been placed in a role to bring the joy and happiness. Sagittarius is Tigger and Winnie the Pooh, and they know it, and they kind of have been cast in that role, and they don't want to be the downer person.
You're right. I mean, Sagittarius is the quincunx of Cancer. And, you know, it's like Sagittarius always looking forward, not so much a traditionalist, doesn't really hang on to things like from the past as much. It's like Cancer is just the opposite, but there's a hard time when it comes to showing emotions or being in a situation where emotions are coming out. And that's the freedom I'm talking about. Run, Sag, run as fast as you can because emotions are coming. Oh, God, you know.
Exactly. And I think they learn very early on to be funny, to be delightful, to be witty, to be the performer in some way. And we don't have time for your tears. We don't have time to see your pain. And so they really run away from their pain, and that's how they hide it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Capricorn in the first house. I think this is the big boss. I think this is the CEO. I think that these people are are in a deep understanding that life needs to be built, and earned and shaped over time, kind of like Taurus. But I think they're very attached to I am what I have built. I am what I
Mhm.
have created. And they wear the CEO face. I think they
Yeah.
operate life with great intention, a little bit of caution, and
I think there's a lot of wisdom in Capricorn rising, though.
yes.
They that they don't mind sharing most of the time, but it's like that old soul energy again
Oh,
that
very.
you
You're
kind of
so right.
find in Virgo.
And don't you think that they're not here for the quick fix? They're here for like, what's the long term outcome of this? And they won't even
Yes.
go on a second date with you if they can't envision that that you are of the quality or the ilk that would be a forever type of person.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
True.
I think they could have a one night stand if that was the goal of the night, but in truth, they really want the long term.
Longevity.
Yeah,
Hmm.
longevity. I think so. Um, I think they are also the embodiment of what stoic strength looks like. Like
Yeah.
I can count on you. I know you're going to be there for me. And also, do you know, I think they have an aura that just how like Scorpio walks into the room and they just change the entire vibe. With Capricorn, it's almost like they are not begging, frothing at the mouth, or even asking you to pick them. They refuse to do that. That is so degrading. But
That's
they,
beneath them.
yes, it's
Yes.
beneath them. They naturally command, if you will, respect. Like,
Hmm.
you will respect me. That's how they show up, these Capricorn risings. You
I
will
agree.
respect me. And I will make you respect me by the way I dress, by the way I look, by the way I talk, by the way I walk, by the way there's a resilience in them.
There's like even, with Scorpio and the piercing eyes, with Capricorn, there's like this wizened look to their bone structure. I can't explain it. It's just like it's there's something that makes them look wise, like they understand things, they know things. Um, and it gives them the ability to command that respect that you were talking about.
Absolutely. Also, Connie, I think that they have a very classic look. They usually have really high cheekbones, a straw
Yeah,
jaw, very classic look, an elegance, a maturity about them. You're right. They come with usually experience and wisdom. Even if they're 7 years old, they have experience in them. They are the old souls. That this is Benjamin Buttons that grows younger
yeah.
as they get older.
And isn't that lovely? Because I can tell you, having a ton of Capricorn in your chart, whether you're a Capricorn rising or have a lot of, heavy Saturn in your chart, it's not easy, but that's the reward that as you grow older, you actually, and I think it's because you've learned all these lessons and you become more youthful, like
Yeah.
Benjamin Buttons, which is the reward of Capricorn because they're not like the Sages of the world ruled by Jupiter and luck. It's Saturn. Wah wah.
Yeah. It's hard knocks sometimes, but I
Hmm.
wish that they could learn joy and rest and emotional openness quicker, faster, better, harder, more, because
Yeah.
and they really think that to be soft is to lose their strength or power. And so they oftentimes Capricorns and Capricorn risings and Capricorn in the first house, they're big control freaks because they feel like the whole system is going to collapse if they're not the one kind of running the show at the helm. Without me, it's going to go to hell in a handbasket. And oftentimes that's the truth. Oftentimes that is the truth, that it is all going to fall apart. But I just wish that Capricorn could let go and just relax. Capricorn in the first house, I mean.
Oh, absolutely. It's like they equal Scorpio when it comes to control, but for different reasons.
Yes, explain that. That's a very good insight.
Because Capricorn wants to control, they want to have control because they don't want the whole system to collapse. They want to make sure all the details, the building is going up
Yeah.
correctly. Scorpios want power, and with
Yes.
power comes control. And they want to make sure that they have, um, it's not so much they think the building's going to fall. That's not it. They just want to make their power known. And Scorpios are smart too, though. I mean, it's not like they don't build things, build wealth, all of that, but it's control for different reasons, don't you
Yeah.
think?
But with Capricorn, this is what I get more than Scorpio. Like, I think Scorpio can get swept away in the passion of the moment. And I think Capricorn, maybe because they're cardinal, they're always on to the next thing that will make more money, be more successful, more security, more. And so they never seem to enjoy the journey as much as the outcome. And I find so many workaholics where when I'm 50, I'm going to retire. When I'm 70, I'm going to retire. Now, when I'm 81, I'm going to retire. Now, you know what? I'm never going to fucking retire.
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
like it's just I don't get it. Like, why does Capricorn kind of have the inability to just enjoy right now, no matter what the outcome is going to be? I have a Capricorn friend. going on a date, and she's like, I don't even want to bother because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't, and I'm like, you're creating the outcome by going on the date.
Yeah.
She's like, just tell me what the outcome is going to be and I'll let you know how much I want to create right now. Like, I don't want to invest more. Do you know what I mean? Like, why is
Yeah.
Capricorn in the first house?
Because everything's an investment, as you just said it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
and I don't know if this applies so much, but I heard this not long ago that a lot of times when somebody, is building something and it's like a dream for them and they build it and they build it and it succeeds, there's a letdown.
Mm,
Instead of there being like a jubilance and joy, there's actually a letdown because it's over, you know. Then they have to
Oh
start
my
something.
God. It's almost like the eventual destination is kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Wow. Like, we got here. This is disappointing. That is so opposite of me, but I don't have a lick of Capricorn in my chart. Like, I can't even relate to that. I'm like, I'm at the destination and I'm like, I never want to go back. Like, do I have to
yeah,
leave? I think that they walk into the room though, like as the quiet authority, the
yeah.
quiet authority with this. They want to build a life of great meaning, of purpose, of power, of lasting impact. I think they want to be known, respected, remembered.
Yes. And, you know, they might be the father or mother figure of the party, the one that makes sure no one drives drunk, that they take everybody's keys, the one
Yeah.
responsible. They feel the need to be responsible.
Yeah. They're the banker in Monopoly.
Yes, girl. Yes.
I used to play Monopoly with my best friend who passed away too young in his 30s. His name was Jeff. I talk about him sometimes. He's born in July. He was a Cancer, and he always wanted to be banker because he was an embezzler.
Oh, shit.
I was like, I think you gave yourself $400 when you passed go, and you're only supposed to get 200. We had no Capricorns. We had no. His sister actually was a Capricorn, and
That's funny.
she had a lot of integrity.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, it's very funny, but um we love our Capricorn risings. They're usually very beautiful too. That sounds funny, but
No,
because we
they're
think,
regal.
yeah,
They're regal.
exactly. And another very, you know,
Class.
magnetic.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. All right. Shall we move to Aquarius?
Dun dun dun. Let's talk about these eccentric people.
Oh my God, do you want me to do the electric slide? Because they have an electric presence. They
Woo!
do. That Uranian presence, the Uranian spark. They really do. They like it's electric to be around them. And I've got so many things here to say unique, original, authentic. But this is the person that will detach in order to observe everything that's going on. And it's like they're the logical reason in a sea of emotion. They can be that because, and these people are brilliant. Don't get me wrong. They're ruled by Uranus air, totally brilliant. But they don't get so tied up in their emotions or emotional attachments for the most part that they can't be the voice of reason in the crowd. Humanitarian, absolutely. Brilliant with networking, technology, absolutely. Friendly, yes, very friendly. But this is my note about Sagittarius. And yes, they have an offbeat appearance. Sometimes they're a bit androgynous. They don't really, and I think this is one of the coolest things about Aquarius rising, that it doesn't matter if you're the janitor or you are the school board president or what you are, they treat you the same. They don't care. They are not that attached to your status. They're not. Capricorn might be more attached to status. Aquarius really isn't. They will treat everybody fairly and be very consistent in how they show up, usually rebellious. Yeah, usually they don't give a teetotal shit what anybody else thinks. They do not care. And they kind of enjoy shocking people with the way they dress or things they say, that sort of thing. They don't mind shocking you just a little bit. But this is where, to me, I'm like, wow. So they're approachable and friendly, yet a bit, they guard their feelings. But I put down here that they can be the most popular person in the room and feel detached from everyone.
Yeah. They're really detached from, this is my favorite thing about Aquarius and Aquarius in the first house is that they can detach from their agenda when they're with you. They don't
Yeah,
even need, it's the opposite of Capricorn in a way. They do not even need to have an agenda. I mean,
yeah,
they can literally show up and I think they bring curiosity and stimulation, but if you were to say this is what I want to happen, they could help you make it happen without even putting their own stamp on it in any way.
yeah. They don't have to put their it doesn't have to be theirs. It can
Yeah.
be everybody's. They're not
Yeah.
attached. It's the opposite of Leo. Leo might want credit. Aquarius does not care as long as the job gets done. Let's be humanitarian. Let's feed the community. Let's do all of these things. And one thing I love about Aquarius rising, Meredith, but Aquarius in the zodiac is the water bearer, and
Yeah.
she's pouring out her knowledge onto the world. These are
Mm,
very intelligent people. Um, but I think sometimes they have a hard time accessing their emotions, and their need for freedom definitely equals or outdoes Sagittarius. They they
yeah.
they
I
want
agree.
freedom.
Absolutely. And it's not just freedom like they can't be in a relationship because they can be in a relationship, but they don't want you to tell them what to do.
Or
Um
how to live or
or
what to
how to live. Yeah.
wear.
Yeah. They do not like that. Um they don't like a honeydew list that someone else gives them. Nope. And that kind of freedom. Like if they
Yeah.
are in a relationship, they need a partner that gives them a freedom.
Yes. It's like, I accept you for what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same.
Yeah,
Give
and
me
no other sign, not even Sagittarius, is as not even Gemini, although they're probably the second best, but they're ruled by
least
Mercury.
judgmental.
Yeah, there's no other sign that is as maybe Pisces, I don't know, that is as least judgmental. They don't have that need to control you, and they don't understand why the rest of the zodiac does.
You're right. They do not. And I just love it that I mean, Meredith, they see humans as humans. It's, they, it depends on what part of their evolutionary journey they're in. But a lot of Aquarius risings, they really don't see gender. They see a human. They don't see your social status. They see a human. They're gonna. That's what I love about them, and
Yes,
and and the way they like to shock people. I think that's pretty funny. But
I think it's funny too. I will tell you though, there's a little bit of an ironic trick, I think, with Aquarius risings. And by the way, this is not really Aquarius sun sign. This is really Aquarius first house, like how you approach life. But I think they wonder why they feel so alienated. They know they're popular. They know they can make friends with the mailman, with the milkman, with the cashier at the grocery store, with their
sure,
they have real friendships. They can be in a group. but they wonder why there's a deep ache and a deep loneliness. So let me say it this way. I think what it is, tell me what you think. I think they are wondering why there is like a lack of intimate connection. And I think they're truly baffled of I'm friends with everyone. I have 1,000 friends, but I feel so alienated or I feel so alone. I don't get it. I am baffled. I am confused by this. And I think it's because of what you said that they don't reveal their emotions. And the emotions are the barnacles in which we mesh into, we hold on to, we connect through emotions. And if you're just going to give me data, stats, shocks, awes, funnies, wisdom and intelligence, and I don't get your heart in it, or I don't get your humility or your vulnerability or your intimacy, I have a hard time, right? Creating intimacy with you. And I think that's what leaves them feeling somewhat lonely.
And isolated. Yeah, I do too. I think I mean, you nailed it. That's exactly why it they can be the most popular person in the room and yet not feel attached to anyone.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a heartache with Aquarius Rising. They don't live from that heartache. I think they are baffled by that heartache. And I think that
Yeah,
heartache,
me too.
yeah, is secret. I think nobody knows about it and they don't wear it out loud. It's buried in there.
Yeah. You know, isn't it strange because Cancer quincunxes Aquarius as well. And the big difference is it's like Cancer has a high emotional IQ and Aquarius has a very high intellectual IQ. And never the twain shall meet sometimes, I guess. It
Yeah,
just seems that way.
it's really true. I think we did a good job with that. I think one thing about Aquarius in the first house and Aquarius rising is I can usually tell if you're an Aquarius rising by your eyes. There is something translucent about the eyes. There is something almost a bit like alien or fascinating with the eyes. And they can be black eyes too, but you can see through them in some way. Usually those blue, 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 Caribbean blue eyes, there's Aquarius, that water bearer. Have
Oh,
you
that is
noticed?
so interesting. I haven't, but I will
So
now.
it's a contrast in eyes. So, for example, if you are a dark skinned person, if you are black and you have those eyes that are
Those
light,
green eyes. Oh,
green or blue, or even like the orange, the tiger eye, you know,
yeah.
a little bit like light, light, light brown, the tiger eye. Um,
Yes.
I just it's just a little thing that I've seen. I can also tell a Pisces by their eyes. I mean, and a Scorpio by their eye contact.
Yeah. Wow. No, I'm going to start noticing now, though.
Yeah. And like Gemini risings oftentimes do not hold eye contact very long at all. And
Because they're restless. Yeah.
yeah, and they're looking around, they're looking up, you know, their eye contact is everywhere. Yeah. Or if you have
Yeah.
a lot of third house, you don't like to hold eye contact. You are because you're curious. You're too curious to hold eye contact. What's funny is Scorpio is also curious about what's inside of you, not what's
Oh,
around
yeah.
you. Isn't that interesting? Anyways,
Yeah.
that's a little side note. You guys, if you are loving this and you want a reading, just go to soulnavigation.com, click on book a reading, and you can get a reading with Connie Joe. She is absolutely brilliant at predictive astrology, your natal astrology, your progress chart. And oh my God, I've got to brag about you. You can also get a reading with me, but I've got to brag about Connie just for a quick minute because we are going to do the Soul Navigation Workshop in Seattle on March 14, 15, 16, and 17 this year, 2026.
Yeah.
We are inviting you to go, but Connie is doing something so extraordinary. She is doing a learn at lunchtime session on Black Moon Lilith. And everybody asks me, Connie, everybody asks me, Meredith, and what do you think about my Black Moon Lilith placement here? And I'm like, I have to be honest with you. I'm not an expert in Black Moon Lilith. I don't know, but let me call Connie. Actually, you should just have a reading with Connie and ask her about it because she is our in-house expert on Black Moon Lilith. So,
Oh my goodness.
what are we going to learn about Black Moon Lilith? By the way, if you can't come to Seattle, we are recording it and you can buy it as a workshop, but tell us a little bit. Tease us before we
Oh
get
my
to Pisces.
goodness. It's like um, a few good men. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. I mean, seriously, it's like some people really can't handle what their Black Moon Lilith actually means because it might be so authentic that but it defies social standards. So it scares the teetotal hell out of them, that kind of thing. But some of this and I don't want to give too much away, you're not going to hear this on the internet. You're really not because they tend to put her in a box and she can't be boxed.
Ooh. What zodiac sign is she most like, or is that not a thing?
It's kind of not, it really isn't a thing because she is a point in the chart that embodies darkness. So I guess if we had to pick a sign, it would probably be Scorpio, you know,
Okay.
because of
And
Pluto.
if people are getting their chart with their Black Moon Lilith, you can calculate it two different ways. Which calculation should they use to bring to your workshop?
Um, and I'm going to talk about that when at
Okay.
the workshop. But so oscillating Lilith or dark Lilith is actually, believe it or not, the true Lilith, where it actually was the moment you were born. But it's not a true standard because the moon oscillates. It bounces. It doesn't, it's like the nodes. There's the mean node and the true node, right?
Yes, yes.
So Lilith is the same way because of the moon's wobble. It creates you usually go with the average, which is what you and I use most of the time and you use in your beautiful natal charts. And I think that's the most telling, but they should look and see where the true Lilith is. And then there's asteroid Lilith too. Oh,
Oh my God, it's going to be such a juicy sex sandwich, isn't it?
oh my gosh, you don't even know. It's like Lilith gets around, girl. I mean,
I love it. Okay, let's talk about Pisces. That was a great teaser, and we do hope that you're going to come and learn with us. It is just so transformational. It is fun. We're going to have a blast. Connie's coming out with us. We are having so much fun. So come join us in Seattle at our upcoming workshop. It's intimate, it's raw, it's real, it is fast moving, fun, deep. Oh my gosh, it's such a great time. Let's talk about Pisces in the first house. So I have two really important people in my life that are Pisces rising, and they have massive Pisces energy in the first house. And I want to tell you that neither one of these people would call themselves a dreamer. Isn't that interesting? Although this is
yeah,
very much considered any book you read, Pisces rising, you are a dreamer. But both of them are and would describe themselves as visionaries. And I think dreamer and visionary is they're cousins, or they're
yeah,
sisters, right?
for sure.
This is the sign, I think, when you are the spiritual warrior, you are the intuitive warrior. The way you're going to win the battle of life is by having and using and knowing your greatest power is your intuition, is your psychic sense. And I also think that there is something so special about you that you can absorb all of the energy around you, and you're deeply affected by people, by the environment, and you can also be a change maker of that environment too, because you're highly aware of everything that's going on. And so you have deep, deep influence inside group settings and inside your relationships. You're kind of working with the energy again, like Scorpio and Cancer. I do think that this is the person who is also connected to the unseen world, much like Scorpio. But when I say world, I mean like cosmic world, like the universe, like the big picture idea, not the unseen psychological world that you're not showing me when we're in conversation and I'm trying to figure out if you're a cheater, a liar, a thief, or a truly good human being. Like, do you have a golden soul or not? That's Scorpio, where Pisces is like, who are you in the world? What is going on in the world? They carry this big vision quality. And my Pisces Rising video, I have to say, it's probably my very favorite video on my entire YouTube channel. It's crappy lighting. I'm in a kitchen. It's getting dark outside, and I don't even know. I think that that video was actually downloaded and channeled. And don't you find, Connie, that a lot of Pisces risings, and also Pisces in the first house, they literally get like downloads from heaven, and they speak them.
Girl, not only that, I can hear what you're saying without thinking of like that Black Crowes song, She Speaks to Angels, because I do think that there's something Neptunian and angelic about Pisces rising that, you know that they're in touch with um, God. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
There's a compassionate, and I think these people are way, 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 way more sensitive than what they show you. There is just so much tenderness and care. And sometimes I find Pisces rising knows that about themselves, so they try to hide it a little bit. They keep it under
Yeah,
wraps. So this is kind of a funny little thing, but Carly, who was the editor for most of my videos so far on this channel, we went out to lunch the other day. We actually spent the whole day in Seattle and we had a blast. And we went vintage clothes shopping and we went to high tea together at this really cute place. If you ever are in Seattle, go to the Queen Mary tea shop. It's absolutely adorable. Anyways, we were walking down the street and I said, Carly, I feel terrible, but I have to run an errand. And Joe, my husband, told me, you make sure, Carly, you get this errand done today because you're out of time. You need to go run this errand. And she literally looked at me and she goes, go to the DMV. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. How did you know that? Who would guess that? And she goes, I'm Pisces rising. I'm like, I know you are. And she's like, I'm psychic. And she is.
yes,
Who would have get? We're at the high Queen Mary Tea House and I have to run an errand. Who's going to guess the DMV? I had to go get a title for my car. Anyways, that is that is Pisces rising. You can finish people's thoughts and sentences. And
yeah,
um it's very interesting because I do think that a Pisces rising person learns in this lifetime that they absolutely have to stay connected to their own internal truth, because this is what honors their soul. Their They have a hard time betraying themselves. I know they can chameleon and they can be whatever you want them to be, but when they are healthy, they really want their authentic truth to be the thing that guides them. And so they can quit you because you're too much. They can quit you because this is too toxic. They can quit you because this is out of alignment with my finances or my or my
yeah,
physicality. My You drain my batteries. You know what I mean? Like there's this
yeah.
sensitivity that they have to be truthful to as the guiding light in their life.
Yeah, I agree. But I think at the same time, there's a hard time setting boundaries with Neptune being the ruler and there being no boundaries,
Yeah.
that it's hard to be the person that says no or I've had enough. So this is why they'll ghost you instead of telling you.
Yes. And I do think they are the great ghosters.
Hmm. Me
And
too.
why are they ghosting? Well,
Because they don't want the confrontation, of course. They they don't want to, they truly don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
that's
So,
really the truth. And I also think they get their feelings hurt a lot.
me too.
Like it
And
can be unbearable.
don't you think they have that ethereal look too? That kind of Neptunian. I can't even explain it. It's like there's some people, some and Pisces risings just seem like they're kind of stuck between earth and heaven or something, you know?
Yeah. I also think that when they are healthy, they when they are healthy, they are exceptionally honest. Like they do the work of angels. Now, when they're not healthy, deception can run their life. But when they're healthy, they literally become quite angelic. Like they return the money, they can't lie. So
Yeah,
my mom and my brother, my older brother, are both Pisces rising, and then my younger brother is a Pisces. But my mom and my brother cannot lie. Like they literally cannot lie. It's so bad. Sometimes I'm like, Mike, don't tell mom the truth. Oh, he couldn't not. And he told her, and now she's worried, something like that. And so sometimes I can't even tell him like what the real thing was because he's going to tell mom
yeah,
because mom asks and he can't lie to her. He cannot lie. He can't lie to his kids. He can't lie to me. He cannot lie. Neither can my mom. My mom would never lie. Do you know my mom has never lied? It they literally are so very healthy human beings and they come kind of from this angelic realm in a way. They they can like stretch the truth a little bit, but they're so obvious. They're so
yeah,
obvious. um, I think
uh,
though that one of the things that Pisces cannot deal with is sometimes the harsh reality, and they will just go pull the covers up over their head and and
bingo.
not, what?
That's what I was gonna say. I think sometimes the need to escape is more real with Pisces first house than any other sign, because it can be just too much. And part of me thinks too that, they were ruled by Jupiter before Neptune was founded. So that is part of that need for authenticity and telling the truth.
And the
You know,
visionary, right?
yeah, exactly.
And I also feel like Pisces needs a dream, a vision, a sort of utopian answer to whatever the problem is that we're facing. Um, uh, or they wither and die. And I
Yeah,
even think like for all three of my Pisces rising, Carly, my mom, and my brother, I think the news and the terrible news on the channel right now, in the world right now, I should say, is just they can't even deal with it. Like
yeah,
it just it if this is the kind of world that we're going to perpetually wake up to, um how can I even create the love, the happiness, the joy, the utopian, the paradise. And so
yeah,
reimagining life and imagining a better life is critical to the wellness of Pisces rising. And if you are at a
yeah,
place of sheer hopelessness, like I can't even reimagine a better world, um, I think that is beyond devastating for Pisces rising. There has to be
yeah,
positive solutions and outcomes to look forward to in order to make meaning out of their life.
yeah. And
And
there comes the
and
need
it's
to escape when they're not able to do that.
Exactly. And recharge the batteries. I remember I called my mom the other day with, I don't know, some terrible news. And she was like, Mare, I can't have this conversation right now because I don't have the bandwidth to hear, right? To hear all of that. And I'm like, well, will you will you go recharge your batteries? Because I need somebody to talk to. She's like, yes, I will. I will. I just can't do it right now. I'm like, okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
Anyways, like, and I think that's that Jupiter, Connie. And I think it's really important for the listeners of this is you really do have to remember those rising signs. And if you've got Pisces in the first house, you have to remember both rulers. You have to think about Jupiter and how Jupiter is optimistic and
Mhm.
hopeful, and then Neptune, the planet of the imagination and the
Yeah.
escape,
Dreams. Yes.
the
Yeah.
dreams. Yeah, Connie, this was so fun.
It was fun. Yes, it was.
It's wonderful to do deep dive astrological banter. We finished our series. Woohoo!
Hey,
Woo! I'm so
we've got to
excited.
come up with something else now.
Yeah, you guys leave us a comment. Please put a comment and let us know if you watched this entire series or if you only watched one of the houses. I think if you really want to understand why we don't do sun sign astrology, you have to understand that you've got something going on. Even if you don't have a planet in these 12 houses, you do have signs in all 12 houses and you want to know how they operate. So we want to
Yeah.
know, did you like this series? Do you have another idea for another series for us to do together? This took us about 2 years to do,
Yeah,
Connie. We're really
it did.
we're very busy people.
Yeah.
So um also, if you don't know where to start, I really recommend you get your soul's design report or your unique chart rulers report. That might be the best report to get to go along with this series so you can understand which planets rule all of your houses. And you do have a
Mhm.
planetary ruler, a dispositor for each house. And that is just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful report. You can get it at shopsoulnavigation.com and check out all of our reports and our charts. And if you want to book a reading with either myself or Connie, you can just go to soulnavigation.com and click on book a reading. And until then, we hope we see you in Seattle at our next
Yes.
navigation workshop.
Yes.
Yay! Yay! It's going to be fun. All right,
Yeah.
Connie, will you go enjoy the Florida sun? I can see it on your face.
Bye from Florida.
And bye from Seattle. We will see you again soon. Take good care.